Hello everyone, it's Nikki, Batgirl D'Angelo, and guess what? I'm not in Star Citizen. A few of you have been asking me, why am I not giving any love to this game, Elite Dangerous? Well, I have been on my own, and I've been having some troubles. I think there's a memory leak or something happening inside the game that keeps locking me out after a while. If I make a jump or two, I'm done. If I play in solo play, it's awesome, but the minute I'm on online play, it just goes south. And I know it's not my internet connection because other games that I play, like Star Citizen's Arena Commander or World of Tanks or War Thunder, I have impeccable connections with very low ping. But on this game, it just sucks ass. How do you like that 60 frames a second that I'm doing here? It's just amazing. Look inside this cockpit. It's awesome. So let me tell you what's been going on with this game. On the 11th, they're going to have a big reveal, and by the end of this month, we're going to have the Gamma going live on the 16th of December. I believe that's the day. So we're going to be able to be live before the rest of the public gets the game because myself and many other people have pre-purchased the game and played through alpha and beta. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking off in my new Eagle. I've already played through quite a few hours of the game, crashing a lot, getting blown out of the sky a lot because I was failing missions due to the crashes and not getting my missions done in time, which was leaving the cargo that I was getting from those missions as being stolen, which was marking me as wanted, which was getting me killed. Whoa, that's a big breath, isn't it? So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to start setting up my next cargo run. Now, I'm in a standard Eagle. I haven't done any extra add-ons yet, so I'm really hoping that I don't get into any combat at this point. So I'm going to pick up a couple of easy-to-fly missions to get back and forth between different star systems and go for a couple of multi-cannons, change out my power regulator, or whatever they call it, power coupler or distributor, and then go get a better power source and better shields, and then go off and start blowing things up. But what my real goal here is to start making enough money over the next week or two to get myself a Cobra Mark III. Hold on a second. That's not what I'm going to do. This game is going to reset the minute it goes to Gamma, which is the final release, but the release that we get first. Look at that gorgeous ship. Isn't it wonderful? I think here I make a mistake and I buy a multi-cannon that's a little bit too expensive and it makes me go overpower. I have to disable it until I can find myself a new power unit. I think they call them reactors, right? So I'm not going to go out of my way to play this game to its fullest until I actually get the Gamma copy. But in the meantime, I'm going to put up 30 or 40 minutes of gameplay every couple of days, every week, every couple of weeks, whatever it is, until the game goes live. Once the game goes live, I'm going to be putting these Let's Plays up as often as I can. I love Elite, always have, and Elite Dangerous is one of my favorite games, and I don't talk about it much because I do support Star Citizen so much, but this game deserves an equal amount of my attention at this point. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. I'm outfitting this ship, which is the Eagle. It's not the starter ship. The starter ship is a Sidewinder. However, if you are one of the people that got the pre-release and paid for the alpha access and beta access, you're going to start off with a Sidewinder, which is pretty much a flying trapezoid, but really cool inside. And one of these, the Eagle. The Eagle is more of a combat ship. The next one up from the starter ship for hauling is just called the Hauler. Whew. Oh God, I'm out of breath. And that's the ship that you use to make a lot of money if you want to be a freighter, if you want to be the Han Solo of the Elite Dangerous universe. Now, one thing that I could say about the Hauler is that you are going to be jumped on by a lot of let's just say a lot of pilots that are other than reputable, that are other than nice, that are pirates, okay? They're pilots that are pirates, and they're going to jump you and ask you for your cargo, and they're actually going to be able to get away with it if you drop your cargo, because then there's no way that they're going to get caught because there's no crime that has been committed. My issue is I never drop my cargo, so I just get them to blow me up, or to disable me and then give me an opportunity to drop my cargo, which lets them take my cargo, marks it as stolen, and marks them as wanted. And then a bounty goes on their head. And a couple of guys have been smarter than that and just took off, and a lot of guys have either blown me up or almost blown me up and then took off. So here I am, leaving a station, and I believe in this station I am in, oh god, this is either Changodak and Ibutis, or this might be All in Enterprise. I'm not sure at this point. I wasn't paying attention. The game is amazing. The graphics are awesome. However, it's missing the immersion that you have in the Star Citizen universe, because you are not an avatar. You don't walk around. You're just a ship. Though I could look down and see my arms, I never leave the ship. I'm kind of like merged with it. I'm one and the same with the ship. Oh god, where was I? I'm going to Ibutis. I have no idea where I was. So I'm going to Changodak. Maybe I was in All in Enterprise, or I can't remember where I was. So here we go. We're going to jump off to Ibutis, and let's take a look at what this is like. I know I've done some Let's Pew Pew videos before for this, but now we're just going to have Let's Play Elite Dangerous. So this is episode 1. So as far as you know, I've never done this before. The coolest thing about this game is how far along it is. Now you can tell I'm having a little bit issues with networking here. Bang. I'm going. There's a little bit of stuttering, a little bit of slowdown. And of course I come out at the other end in about 3, 2, 1. That's not going to work, is it? Nope. Here we go. It was just a little bit further than that. Look at that. They're not done with the graphics of the different stars at this point, but they will appear in the color that they actually are in real life. So the star map is totally 100% accurate. The closer you are to us, the further out you get from the Earth, it's not as accurate. So you're going to have those flares actually coming up and going over, not just always being a static movie playing in the future. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You can see the heat coming up off my ship as I heat up. I could actually get a fuel scoop and fly closer to the star and scoop hydrogen that's being pushed away from the star as my fuel, and then put it into my reactor core and burn it, I guess. I'm not sure how that works. No one explained propulsion of these ships to me. I guess that's all I could imagine, right? Are they using fusion reactors? I guess if they are, then you've got a helium, 2 hydrogen make a helium, right? Or are they making water? I don't know. This is just one of those things. So I'm heading off to Changodak, which is here in Ibutis, and it's a nice little place to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to let myself get stopped at this point, because I'm going to show you what interdiction is, okay? And if it's not this time through, it'll be the next time through, and please forgive me. I'm doing this post and not pre or during. How could I do it pre, right? So I love the, the way that you get around here, except for look how unrealistic the speed is. 17C, that's like warp 17. What does that mean? Well, the Enterprise would have been shaken apart at warp 12 and could barely go over warp 9 without overpowering the core. But here, because we're trying to make a realistic game a little bit unrealistic to make it more fun, realistic physics in it when you're fighting and flying around in normal space, but obviously currently in our life the ability to fly at faster than the speed of light is not a proven theory at this point. All of a sudden I'm thinking that this is not the episode or the run that I've gotten interdicted on. I don't see anything around me. I'm looking over here at the different contacts I have, and I don't see anybody that's going to try to pull me over. I'm looking to see if there's any system ships, any system security ships that might be out there to take care of me, stop me and check my cargo, make sure I'm an upstanding and honorable citizen of the Federation. Flying into Changodak. This is the Ibutis system again. You can see the trails of other ships that are flying in frame-shifted space, which is faster than light space. So I was saying before, is that you might be able to fold space on top of each other. Take a piece of paper and then just bend it together, and the distance from the two tips is actually a lot shorter. Spread the paper back out again, look at the two tips, and the space is a little bit further out. Now currently there are people that are out there that are trying to figure out how to make that happen, but the energy to get space to fold around your ship is kind of large. It's immense. And in the Star Trek series, they used different engines that would do that. Those big warp nozzles on the back of the starships in Star Trek were actually doing just that. And then the ion engines were pushing the ship through space. And when you were warping faster, you were just emitting a higher gravitational field, I think. So we wound up on the backside of the space station, and the reason I know that is because we're looking at the space station, it's rotating clockwise. The side with the little slit in it, you know, the docking bay, is on the side that is rotating counterclockwise. So we're going to push ourselves to the other side, take a look at it as we do it, try to get over to our contact list, and of course request docking.
Request granted.
And all of a sudden, my ship starts going backwards. There's something with the controls on this right now. Every now and then, things like cargo scoops just go out, or I start going back, or all of a sudden, out of nowhere, without pushing the thrusters, the afterburners are going off. Alright, nice view of the planet there. And there's the hangar. And we are going to fly into the hangar bay in just a second. There's another ship that's flying in the general direction. Now 34 is very close to the door. So I'm going to point down. And it's got to be somewhere over here. It's usually just right there. And it is right there. So we're going to fly right into it. Now something weird is going on now. If you look at it, I've been told to land, but there's a lot of debris over here, which means that they just blew up another ship somewhere over here. Well, that's bugged my landing pad, and it's made it so I cannot land facing the right direction. This has never happened to me before. I wonder if it's happened to other people. But it won't take me, it won't capture me. And normally when you get down to the ground, it will capture you. So, I figured that out and say, you know what? I should try to turn around. And then I see the blast panel over here is down, not up. So the last ship probably got blown up on the pad. And it took me facing the wrong direction. And here's one of the pieces of that ship crashing into my ship. Please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. And all of a sudden, I'm going to have a few issues here. It looks like it's taking a little bit long for my key presses. I'm pushing the up arrow on my joystick right now and it's not going up. Something weird is definitely going on. And now all of a sudden it goes up and launches the system services menu, which is what I was looking for. I'm going to the bulletin board and I'm going to get credit for this $4,000 for transporting this animal meat. Now things start going even more wrong. I don't have any real items to pick up here. So what they're telling me to do is to go and find the closest place that has this resource. Well, guess what? I find this resource in no other than All In Enterprises. So that's where we're going to go next. So I have a web page loaded on my iPad, and I've just looked at the trade query site to see where I can find that stuff. And I can find it at All In Enterprises. So I'm going to accept. Well, I screwed that pooch. I'm going to decline because I've already accepted it. And I'm going to go into... Come on, show me where we're going. We're supposed to be going into... There we go. We're going into outfitting, right? Not working. We're going to get fuel. Good job. And then we're going to try to go into outfitting, and then this happens. It gets the spinning wheel of death. And essentially, this has been what's going on with me. Anytime I make a different jump and go in, if I have to go into the lower hangar or launch after I land, I get this menu. And then I have to restart. So let's jump to the part where I actually fix this, okay? So I've corrected it and I'm coming back into the game. I'm playing solo play now because it seems to be the only way I can play with that happening. I don't know if I'm the one that's plagued by this, but there's another one of my friends that lives in this area that plays this game that says he's having the same errors. I just loaded a update just before going live with this particular, well, the last run. And I thought that would have fixed it, but it did not. So I've got everything taken care of. I'm going to try to get off to all in at this point. And of course, what I was trying to do is go down to outfitting. And I'm going to give it a try to see if I can't get a power plant. I can't get thrusters. I can't get anything. Can I get sensors? Yeah, but I'm not going to buy new sensors. Before I do any of this, buy anything else, the next thing I have to do is find a new reactor so I could power everything that I want to power. And we're going to exit out of there. Exit out of here. Launch. And we're going to head off to Asilius Prime, I think is where we found the best place to buy reactive armor. Did I say all in Enterprise or did I say Asilius Prime? I think reactive armor is in Asilius Prime. Whichever place they send me, I know that I'm going to be buying an upgrade to my ship there. So we will know very quickly when we exit the hangar over here. So landing gear up. Landing gear up. Good job. And we shoot for the slit in the front of the building. And flying could be pretty boring if you have nothing to say. So I think in the future I'll be like making it more brief. So we're going to find our piece to push out to. Okay, we're going to all in Enterprise for this one. And we're going to head straight for it. And I bet you anything in this one it's when we get interdicted because it would make sense.
Scan detected.
Ship scans happen all the time. Sometimes it's by enemies, sometimes it's by friendlies, and sometimes it's by system security. If you don't want to be shot dead fast, don't have contraband, well, banned contraband, illegal contraband, on your ship when you get scanned by the system security vessels or Federation vessels. They'll make easy work of a entry-level ship or the Eagle if they're flying around in Vipers, Asps, or anything else that's a lot bigger than you are. Again, nice graphic. Even though we're playing solo, I think we're still playing on the server because we have to be connected to the market and all that. And I think the files are just on your computer in this case. So make sure you don't fly into the sun, point out, go over to the left panel, go into all in Enterprise, and find it. And I think it's going to be on the other side of, yep, now pull up, pull up, pull up. And we're headed in the right direction, just about 120 light seconds away. Alright, so I believe this is the run that I get stopped. And I'm just going to let myself get stopped to show you what happens. So we should get stopped somewhere between here and all in Enterprises. I believe that's the case. And I say that because I see a number of people behind us. And that is not the case. Maybe it's on the way back. Man, I'm so stupid. I'm looking for this, but this play was about an hour long. And I can't remember when it happened. I tried to do the commentary as I was playing through, but I was so frustrated by the first piece of it that I decided at that point, with all the four-letter words, that I was going to indeed redo the audio so you didn't hear me cussing at this game, and add in some post commentary on it. And the next couple of runs I have before the game goes live, I will definitely 100% do the commentary as I go and cut it down to something that's more easily watched on the show. I'm going to try to keep this one to 30 minutes. I'm not going to give you everything that happened. So we're coming into All-in Enterprise, and this is one of those big, giant, tremendous ring space stations. So the place that we dock in on this one is going to be that cylinder in the center. It's hard to believe that 2 spokes are enough to keep that thing together. I don't believe that would ever be the case. Smaller one has multi-spokes. You can't walk around these space stations yet. I hear some mumbling, some whispering around that you're going to be able to at some point. If you look, the station on the left is dark, the station on the right is light. I wonder if that's how they do light and dark inside the station. And let's look to the right as we go over it. You can see lush forests in there. Pretty cool. Some buildings, a roadway. Alright, let's get ourselves in this hangar and let's go figure out how much reactive armor is. I think we should also probably get a bigger cargo bay. Not sure if we're going to do that this run. So All-in Enterprise, let's go up here. And we're going to be landing on pad 1, which I believe is a little bit further back. Cargo scoop, that's one of those times I was talking about that goes out and in and out and in all on its own sometimes. I wonder if it's the Razor products I have. I probably have to fix a driver somewhere. I've got the X55 Rhino, which is a throttle and stick HOTUS. No pedals at this point. Need to get them at some point. I'm using the twist on the stick to actually make it rotate. Or yaw? Do I use the stick for raw? Yeah, I use the stick for raw, the twist. So we're coming in, and you see this time we're going to be landing in the right direction. No problem. Coming over the top of the blast shield, lining ourselves up. This shouldn't take long, and then we'll just smack ourselves down into the pavement. There we go. No problem, right? It's all good. And then we have one job here. First thing should always be to buy fuel so you don't mess that up. Commodities market. We need to go down to the bottom, all the way to the bottom. Come on, girl. Get it done. Get her done. So all the way to the bottom. There you go. Reactive armor. And I messed this one up a couple times. Submit. I only got 1. Stupid was I. But I don't leave the hangar. And I don't leave the hangar at all at that point. I needed to get 2. So I'm going to go down to outfitting and I'm going to play with the outfitting. So now you see when I click outfitting, it goes right down. There's none of that spinny spin spin. And we get twisted around and pushed back. Prepare for pushback. Roger, Houston, pushback is a go. So we get pushed back into the hangar. The elevator stuff goes forward again, closes off. That's the dock or the landing pad being closed off. And here we are. We're going to look for a power distributor. No, we don't have one. And I guess the power plant is the other thing that we really need so we can go up. And at this point, you know what? I'm going to play with this cargo rack thing. Having more cargo is going to limit my distance that I can travel. And that's not a good thing. But it's going to give me 2 extra pieces of cargo to carry, and that is a good thing. So it's what's the trade-off here? Like, is it worth it? Well, being that this game isn't live yet, I'm going to tell you it's worth it. And I took a little while to think about it over here. I'm sitting here contemplating, looking online, and I decide, you know what? Let me compare. I mean, obviously, I'm going to a Class 2, cargo capacity 4, so I go ahead and I confirm it. Come on, boom. And I got it. Alright, go to exit. There's nothing else I can get here today. Sensors, power distribution, power plant, still nothing, right? So we're going to go down and exit this menu, go back here, go back to the commodities board, because now I'm wondering, oh my god, I just sold my other cargo bay. Did that kill my cargo? No, it didn't, but me, the idiot girl I was before, forgot to buy 2. So I'm going to buy 3 this time. Why? Because I could sell 2 and give 2 to them. Make some extra cash there, amigo. So we're going to exit here. And we're going to go and exit here. And we're going to go and launch. Come on, click the launch. Oh, I didn't click the launch. We're going to go back to navigation. We're going to go down to Abutis. And we're going to launch. Come on, launch. I'm hungry. I need some lunch. And here we go. And I love this. The fog gives you a sense of immersion, right? Everything is so gorgeous, but you can't walk around this beautiful station. Look, there's cars going off. Somebody's flying around, walking around, talking on this station, but not us. And I hope to God that they do give us that ability at some point. All right, we're out of here. So far, this is a wonderful, wonderful remake of the original Elite, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I can't wait for the live version. Really, I can't. And every one of those stars is actually where it would be if you were to go outside and be able to see them all from where you are now. And you can go to every single star that is mapped currently in the Milky Way. And that's just amazing. And I can't wait for that to happen. Alright, we're still mass locked. If you look off to the right underneath the fuel indicator, the first thing up there is mass locked, landing gear, and cargo scoop. So mass lock just went off. So whenever I decide to wake up in this video, because this is post commentary, like I said, I'll hit the J key and there I go. That way I could shoot off to Ibutis and end this mission. So we're going to end this mission on these 2 runs. Like I said, I want to keep these Let's Plays down to a half hour. And as we go through this, we're going to build up our credits. We're going to build up the strength of our ship, the defenses of our ship, and we're going to go take on those mean and evil and unruly pirates and shoot them out of the heavens. Well, I hope I do. I hope I don't get shot out of the heavens myself. Or we're going to take covert missions and fly around the galaxy stealthily. Or we're going to get a nice ship and go explore. We're going to do one of these things. But we need to make a lot of cash. We need to make credits. Like to get the Cobra Mark III I want, just to get the Cobra Mark III, we need 250,000 credits. And if we're doing these missions, we're only making a few thousand per turn. Oh my god, that's going to be a lot. It's going to be 75 missions to be able to make that money. So we have to find a way to make more money than we're making now. And we will do that over the next couple of episodes. So this is Interdiction. What I would normally do is chase that blue thing that was going around, but this is just system security. It wasn't a pirate, so I let him pull me out, not realizing he was going to damage my hull, you mother F, you know what I mean. So I got a little bit damaged, like 13% from being pulled out, and it says over there 92%, but when I go to repair, it says it was 13%. I was down to 87%, and I don't understand that. So they're scanning me, and eventually the comms is going to come up and say, "You're good. You can go on your way." And there it is. And he says, "We're all done here, pilot. Move along." And now I can go point myself in the direction of Chengo Dock once more. Hit the J key. Oh, and by the way, this ship is a multitude faster than the Sidewinder that you get in the beginning. The difference is, when the Sidewinder blows up, it doesn't cost you any money to get a new one. You lose the missions that you were on, you lose the cargo that you had in the ship, but you get a new ship for free. In the case of this ship being blown up, and you don't have the money to get a new one, you're SOL, and that is pretty cool. You pay insurance based on the money you have, which is totally different than the way that Star Citizen is going to do it, where they have lifetime insurance on ships now because they're still in the crowdfunding campaign. But you're going to have to buy insurance and keep insurance on your vehicles, on your starships, like you do a car in real life. And if you crash, if you get blown up, you're not going to have to worry about how much money you have on you to get a new ship. The difference is when these ships blow up, you're given one instantly. In Star Citizen, they have to build a new ship for you, and that might take a couple of in-game weeks, a couple of in-game days, or months. So what we were doing there, as I was pointing to an unidentified signal source, I was thinking about showing you and then remembered I still have pea shooters for guns, and I don't have a big power plant, and I don't have good shields, so I ran away like a little girl. So I'm pointing over at Chango Dock at this point, again, like I've been saying over and over again, and this is going to be an uneventful, boring landing, because it is in the right way. I don't crash, I don't get shot down like I've been so many times over the last couple of weeks. Now that I know the problem has been the game crashing and not Nikki sucking at the game. Nikki is drinking an Absolute and cranberry right now. So she's getting very talkative. And I hate talking about myself in the third person. If you ever hear me do that, please biff smack me on the forehead. We're pointing over here at Chango Dock like I've been saying the whole time. God, this takes forever, and it actually doesn't. Flying between star systems is unnaturally and definitely fictitiously quick, right? I mean, if you were able to fly this quick around the galaxy, we would have already met extraterrestrials on this planet. And before you guys say you have and you've been abducted, think twice. All right, here we are, still pointing our way at Chango Dock, but this time we're less than 3 million meters away. When we hit 1 million meters, we'll be able to drop out safely from this frame-shifted space. Hit the J key and we drop. Okay, so you got to see a little bit of what Interdiction was. We didn't play the minigame to get away, we just let him go. Next time we get interdicted, we'll play that game. Coming up on 32 minutes. Holy cow, this is going to be a long one. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, here we are, pointing at Chango Dock. Sorry. We're going to request landing, and we're going to make lots of moolah for this. Now, we're going to spend all that moolah on the next episode of Let's Play Elite Dangerous. We're going to get ourselves some multi-cannons, and we're going to set off and look for a new power plant. In the meantime, we're going to look for a nice place to make some money in an Eagle. Why? Because I'm done with that Sidewinder. I am so done with it. And I really don't want to be a freighter pilot in this. I want to go build up my ship and go tear through all the wanted people and, you know, blow them out of the sky and make some money doing it. There's 42. Let's roll. Roll. You know, that means spin around, dummy. Alright, there you go. Let's drop the landing gear. Again, another one that lets us land in the right direction. So that first landing was some kind of weird landing. So we have got our landing gear out. It was telling us, warning, landing gear. I think that might have been because we were going too fast. And we are going to settle down on the dock here. Okay, there we are. We're docked. And Starport Services. And let's see how much money we make from this one. First thing, the bulletin board, and we're going to pick up that 9,338 credits, which after paying for the other ones is probably a net gain of 6,000, 7,000. Let's see how much we make from selling two, and we'll figure that one out. So, oh wow, we made between 7 and 8,000 credits on this run. We're back up to 46,000. Like I said, we are going to spend that on the next one. Oh, I have to pay 148 credits to repair. That's what it was. It wasn't 13 or 14%. It was 1,400 credit. I mean, 140 credits. Well, that's where we're going to end today. All right? We're going to end this episode here, and I'll create another one from the rest of this one run, and then hopefully I get to play a couple more times before Gamma comes out and we start all over. With that said, you all be safe out there, and I will talk to you soon.